Hi everyone, welcome back over to the channel. If this is your first time watching, well, welcome over. My name is Amy, and over here we talk about beauty, fashion, lifestyle, DIYs, and home makeover projects. And in today's video, you guys, this was actually a requested video from a lot of you all. But hold on, before we get started, I just want to say welcome over to all my new subscribers, because I know there's a lot of you guys over here. I just want to say welcome over. I am so happy to have you here because we are a growing family. So make sure you share this video with your loved ones, okay? And make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you are notified whenever we post a new video. So in one of my previous videos recently, a lot of you guys did request that I actually film my home buying process video, and I basically had to kind of try to remember very well exactly what I've been through, because I've actually forgot a little bit, but I did put some notes down for you guys. So we're gonna get in depth today about the whole entire process and how you can also be able to acquire your home stress-free. Quick disclaimer before we start this video: I am not by any chance a realtor, a financial advisor, or anything. I'm just basically sharing with you guys what pretty much worked for me, which I know would not work for everyone else. But if you are interested in knowing what I did to acquire my first ever home by myself as a single lady, then stay tuned and keep on watching. First things first, right? Let's just basically get the ground level started. Before buying a home, you need some form of cash. You need some form of money. You need some form of credit, because credit is what speaks volume here in America, and I'm sure in most parts of the world, okay? So you want to make sure that you actually building your credit, okay? You want to make sure that you have your credit together. How can you actually build your credit if you're someone, let's say, who have basically zero to no credit? So no credit is equals to bad credit, okay? So you actually have to have some form of credit. What I actually did initially when I wanted to build my credit was I actually went to the bank, which is Bank of America, that I bank with, and basically what they did was I actually had to pay like $300 to them, and they gave me a credit card that was worth $300, and that's basically how I started building my credit. And I think after a while, they'll give you back the money once you started building your credit and making sure that you pay all your credit card bills on time. So if you're new to actually trying to like build your credit and trying to figure out like what to get done to get your credit up there, probably like talk to your bank. I'm sure they're gonna have certain things to offer to you. It's not gonna be much credit because, like I said, I started building my credit with only $300 credit line. So now that we have credit off the way and now you've already started building your credit, what else do you need? Now is the time for you to also start saving up some money, because you're gonna need a whole lot of money. Some people will tell you that, you need 0% down payment for a home. Like, I didn't pay anything for a home, but trust me, even if you don't pay any down payment, you're still going to need money. You need money for so many other things that you would probably even be surprised for. I basically had to sacrifice living with family, and basically saving up some of my money. I kind of lived with family for about a year and a half, just to be able to save up enough money. So don't be in a rush. Just because I did it and somebody else did it don't mean you have to do it right away. Make sure you save enough money, okay? Make sure you're just buying what you need and versus what you want, okay? I know the market right now is quite hot, okay? Everyone and their mother is looking for a house, looking to buy a house. Let me just give you the facts before we actually get into deeper parts of this video. If you're looking to buy your home for the first time, my advice to you is don't do it right now. This is actually a seller's market and not a buyer's market. So if you're just in the market of buying a home, this is not for you, okay? I would advise anyone to just hold off, be patient, wait it off. Use this time actually to save up some more money to buy that first home that you want, okay? Now, let's get into what I personally did. Like, those were 2 steps that you just can't. You have to. You have to have a credit and you have to have money, okay? The next thing was basically finding a realtor. I was very lucky enough to actually one of my cousins is actually a realtor. Shout out to you, Ule. Thank you for hooking your girl up. Okay, she is actually a realtor, and she was able to basically hook me up because she doesn't live here. She hooked me up with somebody who actually live here in the Houston area, and she was actually great. Funny enough, you guys, I actually was not looking to buy a house. I know, like, basically, I just knew that once I hit 35, I just wanted to buy a home. That's just what I've always wanted, right? And so once I hit 35, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy myself a house as my birthday gift, but I'm not sure. I'm scared. Like, I was really scared, you guys. And I also wanted to kind of just go ahead and just stay in an apartment. But once I started looking for apartments, I then realized that this is just not for me. I've lived in apartments my whole entire life, and I've basically flushed my money inside a drain. How about I just take this money and just basically go buy a house? Like, what's stopping you from buying a house? I think I was just being nervous for no reason. Like, it's not like I couldn't afford it, or I didn't save enough money, or I didn't have a good credit enough. So I was like, why would I actually get into an apartment when I could just go ahead and get a house? So that's basically how my journey started. I was not looking to be serious. So I remember actually when I got the realtor, I feel like she probably was like, this girl is not serious. Because everything she asked me, I was like, I don't know. Like, what do you want? I don't know. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna tell you guys is pretty much jot down everything you want in a home. And some of the things that you would probably have to think about is, how many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? What neighborhood do you want to live in? That was a big issue for me because I was very new to Houston. I didn't know what neighborhood I wanted, okay? You know, what kind of flooring do you want? What kind of countertops do you want? What kind of kitchen do you want? What kind of bathroom do you want? Do you want a bathtub and a stand-up shower? Or do you just want a stand-up shower? Or do you just want a bathtub? You basically have to think about all these things. Put everything down, narrow it down. So that way, when the realtor asks you certain questions, you have answers for her or him, okay? Because basically, child, I did not have any answers for my realtor. Okay, everything she asked me, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know what that means, right? So that's something that I would tell you to basically put down. Know exactly what you want. That way it makes your search a lot easier. Another thing was, do you want a lived-in home, or do you actually want a brand new home? I will tell you guys, I actually choose to have a brand new home, and I'll tell you guys the reasons why I actually choose to have a brand new home. And it's just up to you. That's just up to you, what you want. This is what I basically wanted. Okay, I wanted a brand new home because I'm a single person. I live by myself, and I didn't want to basically get into this and having to do like a whole bunch of maintenance and things being out of warranty. I know you can actually have extended warranty and all these things, but I just didn't want to have to deal with all of that, okay? Especially being a first-time home buyer and like a female. Because we know, like, the fact of the matter is, most of the time we get ripped off the most, okay? So I wanted a brand new home because I didn't want to deal with none of the maintenance, none of the remodeling, things having to break down after like a week or day after you leave in the house. With a brand new home, you basically have a 1-year warranty of everything, okay? And then after that 1 year, then, like, you know, you can basically leave by yourself. Like, whatever happened is on your head. But most of the things in the house, like your AC, your roofing, I think your fans, like some things like have like 5 to 10 year warranty, which is quite nice. So you don't have to stress too much. This is why I choose to have a brand new home. Okay, now we'll get to like, what did I build or did I not build? We'll get to that later in the video, okay? But let's just kind of talk about the process, basically how it goes. But the next thing is, your realtor will actually want you to be pre-approved. You don't have to have a realtor, but my advice is get a realtor, because that is someone that you hire to actually be able to stand up for you and basically have your back, okay? Have your interests, basically have your back. right? Okay. Your realtor will be able to guide you as to how you get pre-approved, okay? So when you're getting pre-approved, they're gonna run your credit, okay? You basically have to be careful also not to like basically have so many different lenders like run your credit, because what happened is that's like a hard pull, and that will actually affect your credit. Unless if you have someone who say, okay, I could do a soft pull. A soft pull wouldn't really affect your credit, okay? But I'm not sure if like, let me know in the comment section below if all pre-approvals are all hard pull. Like, I'm not sure. I'm sure like there is hard pull and soft pull, but I'm not sure if like pulling for pre-approval is all a hard pull. Somebody is going to be knowledgeable here. Leave me a comment down in the comment section below and actually like let's basically share ideas, okay? Pre-approval basically means you are just technically trying to know how much you're qualified for, and that has to do with your income, your credit, and all of that good stuff, right? So to be pre-approved, they basically have to run everything about you, okay, in the system, and the system will now tell you that you'll be pre-approved, for example, for $350,000, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and buy a house that is $350,000. We're just telling you that this is how much range like you should be looking at. Right now, if you choose to buy a $200 home, that's on you. If you choose to buy a $300,000 home, that's on you. The pre-approval process is basically just showing you how much price range you need to basically stay by. Like you could, so if they pre-approve you for $350,000, you basically cannot go $351,000, right? So you basically have to stay within budget, right? Now you can actually narrow down what kind of houses you want. Let's say, for example, if you go to Zillow, you can now put in like the price range you want. Like I used to be so confused. I'm like, I don't even know how much I want to spend on a house. But now when they pre-approve you, you have an idea of how much your loan is going to be and what you basically have to look at, like what kind of houses you have to look at. You cannot be approved for like $300,000 and then you're looking for like a $500,000 home. Like that's just like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't work like that, okay? Now that you've been pre-approved, then you're gonna start looking, okay? And you basically want to make sure that you're looking for exactly what you want, right? Sometimes realtors will make you feel rushed. They'll try to convince you. You have to be strong, right? You have to be able to say no. And I struggle with that because I'm a person that would basically feel bad and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to have to feel bad. But you really have to be firm and be able to say no. Like, they're like, oh, but this is not bad. No, that's not what you want. That's not part of your list. You don't want it, you don't want it. Okay, what I did was I then now started looking at new build homes with my realtor. So she brought me to an area. I liked the area. I was like, okay, I like this area. Then you have to like think, do I have kids? Is the school district good enough? Like all that good stuff, okay? I don't have kids, but I'm sure this is not going to be my first and forever home. Eventually, this is probably going to end up being an investment property. Fingers crossed, okay? So I wanted to be able to live in a neighborhood whereby you have a great school district also. So that way, if I choose to sell the house or rent the house to a family who has kids, this would also be a great area to live in. So the next thing was I now have to either choose to build my own, okay, or buy what's already built. Now, this is actually a very good tip. You guys cannot miss this, okay? Let me give you the tea. Okay, when you actually go into the model home to look at, right, you have to basically decide, okay, do you want to build from ground up? I had that option to build from ground up, and then that way you can actually basically customize the house to how you want it. You can basically choose to upgrade certain things and say, oh no, I want A, I want B, I don't want C, I want this kind of countertop. I don't want rugs, I don't want carpet inside my bedrooms. Basically, you can kind of customize the house to how you want it. You can go to the model home, and I'm sure it's like such a fun process to basically pick all this stuff up, right? It can get quite expensive. Before you know it, like the price has actually bumped all the way up, okay? So I had options to look at those kind of homes. I looked at those kind of homes and I was just like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. Sometimes I would like the bathroom, I wouldn't like the kitchen. And then they're like, well, you know, sometimes that's what it is, you know, you're gonna have to like choose. I'm like, I don't wanna choose. I like what I like and I just want everything to basically fall on what I like, right? For example, I wanted like white cabinets in my kitchen, right? I also wanted my bathroom to have a bathtub and also a standalone shower, like a garden tub. I also wanted to have nothing less than 2.5 bathrooms. I didn't want to have 2 bathrooms alone. I also wanted to have vinyl floors or wood flooring in all of my my living area. My rooms, I was able to, like, I can compromise that, but not inside the living room area. So these are basically some of the things that I actually wanted, right? And sometimes I go into a house, it'll have one thing, it wouldn't have the other thing. And I was just like, this is just not it. Like, it really is just not it. So I went to look the first time, I looked the second time, and then the third time that we came to look, the guy at the office was like, you know what, let me show you this home. And this home that I actually bought, which is where I'm living in right now, okay? As soon as I walked into this house, I felt it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I felt it. As soon as we walked in and I saw the kitchen, I turned around and I looked at my realtor. And she's like, what? I was like, this is my house. And she's like, what? I was like, this is mine. And she's like, well, if you say so. I was like, I dead ass, I'm telling you right now, this house, I felt it, is my house. I don't know how to explain that feeling, you guys, but I felt it, okay? It pretty much have everything that I wanted. And I was like, this is perfect. And pretty much the house was already built. Everything that was an upgrade has already been done, but the people that actually built this house to buy it couldn't close on the property. So I think their deal basically flopped, right? So I was able to actually back this house plus everything that they were able to upgrade in it, and I didn't have to pay extra, right? And I will tell you how I didn't have to pay extra. So how I didn't pay extra, okay? Make sure if you're buying a home that is already built in like one of these new build areas, you buy the house at the end of the month. Go at the end of the month to look for what you want. It's a deal. It's a game changer. When you go at the end of the month, most builders don't want that house to basically kind of go or carry on to the next month. So you can easily negotiate stuff like fast because they really just want it to go away, right? So after I actually looked at the house, I was like, this is my house, this is what I want, this is it. My realtor was like, okay, you wanna go home and sleep over it? I was like, sure. Slept over it, woke up, this is still my house, ain't nothing changed. Okay, so she made an appointment for us to go back to the office to basically go and seal the deal and put in what's called the earnest money. Okay, now what is an earnest money? An earnest money is the money you pay to whoever is selling you the house, being a builder or the home sell, like the person that's selling the house. You pay an earnest money and you basically don't get the earnest money back in some cases. Now, if you're buying a house from somebody else, you can probably cut a deal and they'll probably understand. I don't know, but most of the time when you pay your earnest money and you actually try to come out of the deal, you don't get your money back. So you really have to make sure that this is really what you want before you put the earnest money down. Okay? So when I came over to put my earnest money down, we looked at the house again. They're like, are you sure this is what you want? I'm like, I'm sure this is what I want. I know this is my house. That's it. So we got inside, sat down, and the guy was like, they run the numbers and all that stuff. And he was like, nah, you're going to have to pay X amount. Like, that's not going to work. And I'm like, no, this is how much I want to stick by. I don't want to pay anything, a penny over. And he basically called his boss. It was actually around like 7. It was already late that day, and it was like the last day of the month. I remember this very well. And we basically pull push, and his boss was like, "No, we're not gonna sell the house if she doesn't want to go up in price." And I was like, "Okay, then cool. Like, I guess this is not for me, you know." So then I walked out, and my realtor was like, "Nah, it's not that much of a difference in your mortgage. I think you should just go ahead and do it." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it. Like, I really don't want to do it. Like, this is where I'm saying I'm stopping. This is where I'm stopping. Like, I'm not going one penny over. You see that extra $100 is money also every single month if you calculate it. So I'm not doing it. Just because they tell you it's $100 extra don't mean you're gonna have to do it." I said no. And she was like, "Are you sure you want to miss on this house?" I was like, "Sure." I was like, "But one thing I could tell you is that they're not going to sell that house. They're going to sell that house to me. That's my house. I believed it. Listen, I manifested this house, child, okay?" So we left. The next morning, I had a call from her again, and she was like, "Guess what?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "They accepted your offer. Are you able to go there today? Let's go and lock this house down." I think I paid about like $2,000, $2,500 to basically lock the house down. And I was like, "I told y'all this is my house." And she was basically laughing. She was like, "You said it." I was like, "Yep, I said it. This is my house." So basically, if you see something you want and you're really sure you want it, go ahead and put that earnest money down and lock the house. Once you put your earnest money down, they can't sell the house to anybody else but you, and that's just how you lock the house. And now the whole entire process of buying this house come into play. Let's dig deeper. Now that everything has been done, the loan process is now gonna start. Now they're gonna run your credit. Now you're gonna have to deal with the loan officers. You basically have to have a job, and you have to have an income that's able to pay for the house, right? So they're gonna run all these things. If you're married, I'm sure they'll run both of your credits. They'll do all of that stuff together for the both of you. But in my case, it was just me, so everything was easy because I just had to pull everything that they asked me for. Everything was quite easy for me. I think things that basically pulled a red flag for me was that my office is based out of New York, and I'm like here, so my job basically just had to kind of write and explain that. Basically, I just gave them the information to my job, and I also gave my job the information to my loan officer, and they just basically communicated together, and I didn't even have to be in the loop, and unless and until they needed documents from me, and then they'll ask for it, and I'll just send it back to them. When the loan is being processed and all these things, this is a very crucial time. You want to make sure that you're not using your credit cards to buy any major thing and just doing like fancy living and balling out and going to buy furnitures and all these things, like going to buy furniture and all these things, because you don't own this house until you close on this home. Because there are so many people who get excited, they go out buying furniture, buying this, doing that, and then the deal flop, and then what? Okay? You shouldn't do that just because the house is not your house until you close the house, right? But another thing is that you don't want any red flags on your credit. You want to make sure that you maintain the same credit, okay? Your credit is not like going down after like basically you've been pre-approved. You want everything to just basically mesh and sync together and just look exactly the same, okay? Another thing is, in the process of buying a home, make sure you are not switching jobs, okay? So from when you've been pre-approved to when you actually are closing on your deal, make sure you keep the same exact job. Don't try to switch jobs. Don't try to do all these things. And also make sure that you don't get a pay cut from your job, because if you do, that's also going to be a red flag, okay? So try and just hold it off. I know you want that new job that's been offered to you that is paying more money, but please hold it off, because it is just going to, I mean, you could probably do it, but I think it's just going to elongate your process and just basically bring a red flag. And sometimes you just want to just be over with it and not have to deal with all this nonsense, okay? What type of loan did I get? I actually had an FHA loan. There is so many options on loan, that you have a conventional loan and then a non-conventional loan and all that language that I basically don't understand, right? So I had an FHA loan, which is like the first time home buyer loan. I don't know, something like that, right? But there are places where you can actually like take certain courses, and you probably have to put like way less money down and tap all these incentives and all that stuff. I didn't do all of that, but you have the option to actually do that. Whilst your loan process is going on, there is a lot of other things that is going to be also taking place. There has to be an appraisal going on, and sometimes you can negotiate these things from, with the builder and all these people, and have them actually pay for the appraisal and all that good stuff. I can't remember if I paid for it or they paid for it. Really, like, you can negotiate for these things, but they have to appraise the house, and appraising the house will just tell you. So if they actually charge me way more money than what the appraisal comes out to be, those are things that you can probably negotiate also and have them drop it down to what it actually appraises for. But in my case, my house actually appraised for way more than what I actually got it for, okay? Not way more, but more than what I got it for, okay? Then you also have to now pay for someone to actually come and inspect the house, right? Even though this was a new built home, I still had to make sure that this house was inspected. They inspect the roof, the AC, they basically inspect the whole entire house. And let me tell you, I totally recommend having inspection done in your house, because they were able to it was not a lot, okay, but there was certain things that they saw that I wouldn't probably have been able to see, and they had it sorted out for me, okay? So now that the closing day has come, they're gonna run everything again. In my case, something very bizarre happened. The day of me closing, they already told me how much I have to write my check for, to basically to close the house and everything. On my way to actually, I think it was a cashier's check that we needed. I can't remember. I think it was a cashier's check. But basically, on my way to go, my loan officer called me and told me that I basically had to write. It was probably maybe $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 over what I was initially supposed to take. And she basically explained it as they want to give it back to me at the end of the year. It was the tax, da 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 da. And in my head, I was like, so you mean to tell me if I didn't have $6,000 extra, this deal is gone, it's flopped, it's dead? And she's like, you're gonna have to pay. Bro, I was so pissed off, but I was like, you know what? I thank God that I'm able to actually just have it. At least it's going to be refunded back to me at the end of the year. So I had to basically go and actually pay way more money than I anticipated initially to pay, and it was fine. I was just like, whatever. I just had to do what I had to do because that was closing day. There's nothing I could possibly do. Closing has time, and I just had to close and leave. And I finally went to close, and it was a lot of paperwork to sign, so get ready, exercise that hand, because it is a lot of paperwork for you to sign. I pretty much signed my life away. Something major happened. I almost got foreclosed. My house pretty much almost got foreclosed. Okay? And how and why, I don't know how, right? But I'll tell you guys the story so you could be careful so this doesn't happen to you. Everything, all the extra stuff is escrowed into my monthly payment. And that's one thing that you also want to do if you don't want to basically pay like lump sums of money at the end of the year. Make sure you escrow everything, like your taxes and all the stuff, like into your mortgage, right? I basically only pay for my HOA like separate. The HOA is not escrowed into my mortgage. So that one I pay a check every year for X amount, right? So they send me a mail, the tax company sent me a mail and say they were gonna foreclose my house if I didn't pay my taxes. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense because I believe I pay my taxes already. So then I was confused, and I only had few days on the letter for the deadline, right? And luckily I had one of my friends, Cedric, you guys know. he has owned a couple of homes before. So I gave him the letter and I was like, I'm confused. He's like, what's going on? I was like, I promise I pay my taxes. He was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, of course, right? So then it was a weekend. So we called the mortgage company on that Monday. And I basically gave him, because I didn't know what to even ask for. I gave him permission to basically talk to the mortgage company, and I basically told him that he could talk to them. So he was able to ask all the right questions to them. And then they end up realizing that when I was closing my house, they wrote the wrong county down. So my mortgage company was paying the wrong county all the way in Austin. You guys, insane. It was insane. And basically, like, I think something was higher. So luckily, the mortgage company actually had to refund me some check because I was overpaying for something. That was nice. But if my house was foreclosed, child, it would be over. Because I'm sure people be like, she can't afford her house, okay? But that was not the case. It's just because there was an error. The reason why I said this is because make sure when you're signing on closing day to double check all these things and make sure they have everything right, because I'm sure somebody at that office had my my county wrong, because I live in a total different county than the county that they put on, and I basically don't know how. Okay, so this was a long one. I hope you guys learned something. I absolutely love my home. It's been 2 years. I cannot believe it's been 2 years since I've been a homeowner, and this has just been my first home. And hopefully in the near future, I will be buying more homes, and I will basically share the whole journey with you guys. But yeah, like I'm in love, and there's no regrets. Like, this is a great, I mean, the time I got my house was just the best time for anyone to like get a house, and I am truly honored and grateful that I did it when I did it, because it's so hard to acquire a home right now. So my advice to you is, do not rush the process. Take your time, look for what you want. Right now is not the best time for you to be buying a home, but if you think you really do need to be buying a home right now because you just want to get a home, go ahead and do it. Is there anything I left behind? Leave me a comment down in the comment section below. I would love to answer all your questions in the comment section. And if there's anything that I said here that was not quite accurate or right, or you don't agree with, leave a comment down in the comment section below also. Let's have a discussion there. All right, you guys, and that is all I had for you in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and have learned something. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate. Leave them in the comment section below. You guys know the drill, okay? And if you're someone who is actually very knowledgeable in this area, also leave comments in the comment section below and give us some advice, because we are all learning. And trust me, I want to learn some more too, because this is not going to be my last home for sure. Okay, as always, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video. Until I come your way next time, I love y'all.